As Europe turns to renewable sources to diversify energy supplies away from Russian oil and gas, European states and companies are only now starting to monitor and secure their wind farms. Reuters found in a survey of 13 governments and interviews with dozen lawmakers, regulators, military and industry officials. Rising above the Baltic Sea less than 10 kilometres or 6 miles off the coast of Denmark, 161 wind turbines spin slowly. They supply around 4% of the country's power, sent to shore through 2 cable connections. But the turbines have no barriers or surveillance.
It's an open area. Everybody is allowed to sail in between the turbines, all the tourists, the sailboats, etc. So we're not monitoring if somebody is sailing inside the area. Of course, it's a shallow water, 5 to 10 meters of water depth. But people are allowed to sail here. Of course, the turbines are locked during the night, so people cannot enter the turbine, but they can do whatever they want.
The picture is similar across the North and Baltic Seas. Developers like Ørsted think governments should take the lead and help provide the billions of dollars needed to protect their infrastructure. But even as North Sea countries alone plan to install enough wind power for more than 100 million homes by 2030, governments are still considering how much they can spend to safeguard such offshore assets. Solutions include underwater drones to monitor subsea infrastructure, small radars and cameras to observe ships, and sensors inside power cables to detect unusual movements. Installing such equipment on a large wind farm would cost between 20 and 60 million euros, according to 3 industry sources.
The Russian activities in the Baltic Sea, of course, they have increased, but not the last year maybe, but if you count back to 5-6 years back, then it has really increased. We are surveilling that one. We are there. We're working together with other nations.
If North Sea countries were to meet their target for extra offshore capacity, that would cost up to 3.6 billion euros more to secure, according to Reuters calculations. Surveillance, including active patrols, would add much more. The risk was underlined last year with attacks by unidentified saboteurs on the Nord Stream pipeline, and again this month when Finland and Sweden said a subsea gas pipeline and telecommunications cables had been damaged, including a link between NATO members Finland and Estonia. Finland said its review of vessels in the area at the time found a Russian and a Chinese ship among them.
The level of monitoring and protection is usually not beyond what the obligations of operators are. So we have companies that have their own interests because they want to supply and want to have economic gain from their product. And this already includes remote monitoring, hydrophone installations on the wind farm's edges to monitor the surrounding sea noise, and also regular visits and visual control of installations. But there's not some kind of regular state visits to wind farms to look for malicious actors, because they're spatially widespread. It's just not easy to monitor all these installations. Some of them are below sea, so you cannot see the transmission cables. And it's a tough task to monitor them all.
President Vladimir Putin has dismissed the idea Russia was involved as rubbish. The Chinese ship owner New Shipping declined to comment. Of the government surveyed, only the United Kingdom and Poland said they had invested or budgeted for steps to improve the security of offshore infrastructure. The others declined to answer questions on budgetary commitments or said they were now looking into further funding. In March, NATO set up a unit to address vulnerabilities of undersea infrastructure. It says it has boosted ships and aircraft patrolling the Baltic and North Seas. A direct attack on a NATO country could trigger a full response from the alliance. NATO is clear that within territorial waters, it's down to states to protect their infrastructure. But without surveillance, it is not possible to find culprits, and most planned new offshore projects will be in international waters.